It's Kris back with you to introduce this really important episode of the Guaranteed Cash Offer podcast. You know, I've been having that Bob Dylan song in my head lately. The times they are changing, especially when I look at the latest housing and economic data. The times really do seem to be changing. I'm definitely seeing it. We're hearing it from the homeowners we talk to every day. And if you're trying to sell a house in this climate, the value of certainty, speed, and predictability is really high. I mean, really high. I'm not even kidding. So I thought it was really important to take a deep dive on that crucial decision that so many of you listening to this podcast might be facing in the current economic climate. Should I accept a guaranteed cash offer or should I gamble on the open market? It's actually a lot more nuanced than you might think, and my hope is that you feel a lot more informed 10 minutes from now than you do now. So pour that cup of coffee. I join you, but I don't drink coffee. I know, a lot of people are surprised by that, but frankly, I think I'm naturally caffeinated. But you have yours and enjoy this episode. Let's go. Hey there, GCO podcast family. I hope you're having an arms out day, and I'm really excited for you to hear this particular episode. I'm going back to the basics, but I'm also talking about very recent trends in the market. This episode is for you if you just decided to sell your house or you inherited one that you need to get rid of. Because the very first decision you have to make, the first fork in the road you face is this. Do I put the house on the open market or do I accept a guaranteed cash offer? You might be thinking, okay, well, Kris invented the guaranteed cash offer program. He wrote a book called Guaranteed Cash Offer, and now he has a podcast called Guaranteed Cash Offer. Gee, I wonder which path he's gonna recommend. That's fair, but here's the thing. I've sold houses on the open market for over 15 years. I was the number one agent in my state. I've sold billions of dollars in real estate. I know that side of the business inside and out. The truth is, selling your house for cash isn't for everybody. It's not. How you sell your property depends on your unique life situation, your personality type, which is basically your risk tolerance. And this is the important one for today. It depends on the broader economic outlook. Today, I want to talk about the third factor because it's huge, based on the data, not based on my opinion, but based on the actual data that's coming out every day. The economy and the housing market are not healthy. They're not. The signs are everywhere. You're seeing it in the news headlines, layoffs, shifting interest rates, inflation, housing availability and affordability. Buyers feel like rates are too high from what they're used to over the last 10, 15 years. I just looked at the MLS in my area, and guess what? There are literally thousands of listings that have recently canceled or expired. Thousands. The properties didn't sell. They didn't get to the finish line. Buyers rejected them. I'm also seeing this. Days on market has increased almost 20%. That means the average house on the open market takes months to sell, if it sells at all. Overall home sales are down nearly 10%, and they seem to be shifting even more. At the same time, inventory, which is houses for sale on the open market, has been increasing significantly. These aren't opinions, they're facts, and they all point to uncertainty, volatility, and turbulence. I'm telling you, we're not sitting at the kitchen table with anyone these days who doesn't feel like things are shifting. We're seeing more and more people who, when they look at selling a house, they don't want a process that's slow and uncertain. They want one that's fast and reliable. They want transparency. They want to know the outcome before they invest another minute of their time. If you've made the decision to sell a house, you really have three options. One, you can take a wait and see approach. Two, you can gamble on the open market. Or three, you can accept a guaranteed cash offer. I'm going to talk about each one of these, especially in light of where the market seems to be going. Let's talk about taking a wait and see approach. This may seem like a good option, and who knows, it could be, but it's also a lot riskier than most people think. You just don't know. Will the market continue to shift down, and will the equity in the home go down with it? It very well could. Do you want to wait and find out? Again, look at the data. Consumer debt is rising fast. Student loan debt still going up. Auto loan defaults up. Foreclosures up. Bankruptcies up. All the bad stuff seems to be going up. I don't know about you, but that sounds like turbulence to me. So you might be tempted to stay put, ride out the storm, and batten down the hatches. But it could get way more turbulent before the headwinds die down. With these types of indicators, it can take a long time for the housing market and the overall economy to get healthier. Don't count on things to change suddenly in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. If you're going to wait and see, then get ready to wait a long time before you see anything different. Option 2, gamble on the open market. I hear a lot of people say, I'm going to sell my house on the open market. And I always say, you mean you're going to list your house on the open market? There's no guarantee it's going to sell for what you're asking or at all. The days of thinking that you could throw a house on the open market and people would fall over themselves trying to get it, they're gone. You're probably seeing the evidence right in your area or right in your neighborhood. You're seeing more for sale signs and they're staying up longer. Behind the scenes, that probably means the sellers are reducing their price. In fact, in the last 7 days, I'm seeing over 700 price reductions on the open market. That's a huge increase from just a couple of years ago. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. We all think it's a seller's market when we're the ones selling. That's normal. I see it all the time. But the housing market isn't based on feelings, hopes, or opinions. It's based on numbers and facts. So if you choose to gamble on the open market, be ready for price reductions over and over again. Get ready for curveballs and surprises. Maybe your neighbor decides to list their house. Then another one does. Then another one. Then their asking prices change and you're reacting all the time, chasing the market. In the meantime, you have strangers walking through your house. You had to spend weeks or months getting it ready and perfect, and now you have to keep it that way every day. And maybe you have young kids or pets. It's not fun. Remember, selling a house isn't about where you're leaving. It's about where you're going. And right now, so many people aren't going anywhere. The open market is rejecting their houses, thousands of them. It's not working. Noticed how many homes around you are selling quickly with no sign in the yard? Chances are it was a guaranteed cash offer from Kris Lindahl Real Estate. Don't wait till spring to sell. Join over 30,000 people who've tapped into the guaranteed cash offer program. Go to krislindahl.com today.
My in-laws' house had been in the family for years, and it was hard to sell. But with Kris Lindahl's Guaranteed Cash Offer program, the decision to sell was made easier. The people we worked with were professional, personal, reliable, and effective. Thank you, Kris Lindahl. Judith.
Finally, let's talk about option 3, where you accept a guaranteed cash offer. First, what does that mean? I'm finding that a lot of people don't fully understand what a guaranteed cash offer is. So I'll put it this way. If you accept a guaranteed cash offer for $300,000, we'll write you a check for $300,000. If you accept a guaranteed cash offer for $400,000, we'll write you a check for $400,000. Whatever the guaranteed cash offer is that you accept, that's the exact amount that goes in your pocket within days. Period. End of story. That's the benefit of a guarantee. You know your house is going to sell, and the offer you accept is the amount you get. Now, here's where some people run into trouble. Some people get their guaranteed cash offer, show it to a real estate agent, and the agent tries to convince them not to accept it. Here's what they're not telling you. We guarantee that your house will be sold because we buy it. They don't. They can't. Plus, they want you to take on all the risk. If an agent tells you to list your house for a price that buyers reject, like what's happening now, who loses? You do. Our cash offer is guaranteed. Their listing price isn't. Ask your agent to guarantee that your house will sell for the price they want to list it at and see what they say. Then tell them this. Hey, if I have to keep lowering my asking price, then you have to lower your percentage commission. I'm telling you right now, it won't go over well. Plus, even if you're lucky enough to find a buyer on the open market, you know you're probably going to lose up to 10% off the top in commissions and closing costs. Plus, you've probably heard the nightmares of sellers going to their closings and suddenly being hit with tons of surprises, tons of other fees they weren't counting on. It happens all the time. Also, as I've talked about in other episodes, your time is the most valuable thing of all. How many hours will you put into trying to sell your house on the open market with no guarantee of success? 100 hours? 200 hours? If your time is worth $100 an hour, then spending 200 hours getting it ready means you lose $20,000. So no, there's no one-size-fits-all way to put a house on the market, but with the economic data we're seeing these days, a guaranteed cash offer is looking better and better. And based on the number of people who are tapping into our program, I'd say the smart sellers are catching on. Finally, when you reach out to us, or if you already have, you'll notice that we put a deadline on our offers. They don't last forever. In fact, they need to expire pretty fast because the market shifts so quickly. Way too many people get a guaranteed cash offer from us, sit on it, find out it expired, then get another one that's lower. So locking in that offer can be critical to your success. Okay, I've talked a lot here. Bottom line, as the facts point to a world that's more and more uncertain, certainty gets more and more valuable. That's why so many people today want guaranteed cash offers. And that's why the smart sellers are saying yes to their offers before they expire. That's it for today. I hope this made sense and gave you a sense of where things seem to be trending and what your options really are. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time, and remember to live your life arms out. I'm still hearing Bob Dylan in my head because the times they are a-changing indeed. Actually, they already have. So to summarize where we're at, wait and see, increasingly risky. Open market, always risky. Guaranteed cash offer looking better and better based on the hard data. Not to mention the fact that even when the economic outlook is better, even when those numbers look more positive, and someday they will, but probably not anytime soon, a guaranteed cash offer is still a really popular option, especially if you find yourself in one of the 55 life situations I cover in the #1 best-selling guaranteed cash offer book. By the way, if you don't already have that book, I highly encourage you to order it on Amazon or wherever you get your books. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you soon.